What the frick is up, YouTube? Hope you guys are all doing well. Espero que todos mis amigos estén bien. Jaden back here with another freaking video, and today I wanted to talk about something a little bit new. Currently walking to the gym in the morning. I thought I would talk about a topic that is dear to me at the moment, and that is something I've dealt with in the past, and that is appreciate what you have before it's gone. I don't know if you can notice right now, guys, but I'm looking pretty scuffed. First of all, I haven't shaved in a few days, but there's a reason for that. One, I was in London and Edinburgh, Scotland, which was awesome. But on that same note, I developed a sort of infection, which you can probably see in my freaking nose. Guys, when you are out backpacking, sometimes you aren't in the cleansiest of places, and a little scratch here or there can become infected pretty easily, and then you're stuck with a big old swollen nose for a few days while your body tries to figure out what the hell is going on. And so that is currently, where I am. And of course, it sucks to have a big infection in the middle of your face, but it is a good learning lesson. Always got to look on the bright side. And I do think, the guiding power does things for a reason, and I am going through this experience to learn, right? That is how I try to view all things, especially if they're negative. And so, what is the learning dynamic at the moment? What is the learning, what is the moral of this story, of this tribulation? I think it is to appreciate what you have at the moment and not to take anything for granted. Normally, I have a nice, normal nose that can smell and, present itself quite quite nicely, I like to think. And so, in this new state of being, without those aspects, feeling pretty beaten down. However, what do we still have? 2 legs, 2 feet, 2 hands, 2 arms, the ability to go to the gym and freaking at least try to maintain muscle while I try to enjoy all the local cuisine, not caring about diet or sleep. The 2 other pillars of the stool that we like to call bodybuilding. So obviously I'm not making a lot of progress, but I do get to enjoy my life the next 4 days before I'm back in the city. I get to do all that, and not everyone does. I was, through my travels, obviously I've seen a good amount of people that are, less blessed, right, that have gone through more, that are maybe homeless or, maybe missing a limb or veterans or whatever. Guys, you got to look at that and you have to say, always, thank God, thank the Lord, thank my luck that I am not in a worse situation, because it is very easy to have taken the short end of the straw, almost always. And, no one wants that, no one deserves that. And yet, of course, some people go through that experience. And so, just all that yap, I'm looking at a pasteleria I might hit up later, but all that yap to say, I'm trying right now to look back and say, man, I wish I kind of appreciated what I had a bit more before now it's more distant, right? How does this apply to lifting, you may ask? Well, lifting is it's a very long-term game, but it's also a very short-term game in some ways. If you are, let's say you live 80 years, right? Let's give or take 30 years. Let's say you're very careful, 30 years. You have to have 30 years of constant improvement, constant, weight goes up, physique gets better in the gym. And I don't think that's unreasonable, by the way. I think you can do that for at least 20 years. Let's say you start at 20. Let's say 30. Let's say you start when you're like 10 or 12, right? Some people did, like Mike Menzer, freaking, what's the guy's name? Baby, don't hurt me, that guy, right? Freaking Michael Hearn. Guy started when he was like 10 years old or something, right? I mean, what is he, in his 60s now almost? The guy still looks amazing. Obviously not natural, but, that's an example, a prime example that I think you should follow, or at least trying to keep up longevity. But in his case, it's like 30, 40 years of freaking improving, right, essentially. But will he reach a point where he cannot improve anymore? Absolutely, right, almost certainly. And when that happens, what is he going to do? Is he going to just break down and cry? Probably not, I hope not, right? But at that point, he's going to have to say, man, I probably reached my peak. I'm going to have to look back on those days and say, I didn't know what I had, because those would have been the glory days. Those now have become the glory days that you can now no longer return to. And so little things like that, your physique is not always going to get better forever, guys. It can for a while, but eventually you will hit, especially if you're natural, a natural limit. And I don't think it's like if you're natural, the natural limit is closer. I think it's farther. I think it's farther because you're not pushing yourself like, unnaturally with compounds that allow you to improve at a faster rate than you're normally designed to. A lot of times you'll see with natural lifters, they'll be 50 and they're still pushing P. They're still improving in all aspects, still competing because they get that slower natural burn versus, you're on compounds 30, 40, you're already failing, you got to hop off, right? So I think there's a genuine difference there. But that said, getting close to my gym here, I don't want to keep this too long, but I'm just trying to say, guys, keep it freaking relative. Always appreciate what you have. The small things, being able to even be in the gym and lift and all that, that is such a blessing. And not having an infection in the middle of your face as well. And so right now I'm thinking, man, I wish I'd appreciated more just being able to walk around, not thinking about this thing in the middle of my face. I'm going to try and do the same, but it's tougher. So, little yap, little spiel, just kind of what's been on my mind today. With that said, I guess last freaking week here, I didn't really do an introduction, but it is Tuesday, July 1st. I'm out of here Saturday, and so counting down the days here, but it's been an amazing time overall. Again, a little bit of a final last-minute infection is not going to destroy all my dreams of glory in Barcelona. So that said, let's go continue the Gains and Glory series with the lift, which will be in another video. Hopefully you guys will catch that at some point as well. Peace out.